Hello. The reason why I'm here, I'm a parent, but apart from that, I deal with innovation in healthcare and deal with developing new products across many, many disciplines. So why do I want to talk about creativity? Basically, creativity is the most demanded skill among CEOs, among bosses of big companies today out there. Why is it so? Mostly because creativity helps you in solving problems. Creativity is absolutely indispensable in crisis situations, but also creativity is very important in being innovative. And innovation stands behind any new products, any new ideas, any new processes that we introduce to our lives. But what is amazing is that actually we are born very creative. Creativity is something that is innate and is congenital. We are born being creative, and then apparently we lose creativity. Oh, sorry, that's not. Look at this. These are tests done on 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and 20 and adults. And the tests are the same tests that they are using in NASA to evaluate creativity of engineers and their innovativeness. And it would appear that we just lose creativity as we age. How is it possible? The person who is behind these tests states that the reason is that we change our thinking. When we are young, we think in a divergent manner. So we think imaginatively. We think in an abstract manner, and we come up with new ideas all the time. As we age, we learn, and we only refer to ideas we know. So we think in a more convergent manner. Now, can we control it? Can we control this change, this evolution of our thinking? Good question. The second thing that's happening is apparently, and again, the reason here is only the one that can be suggested, and it's not confirmed, because psychology is not a, my sister will kill me for that because she's a psychologist, but psychology is not a fully measurable discipline because it's based on testing. So these tests check people's, students' creativity in time as the world develops. So as the world develops, apparently creativity and thinking out of the box goes down. Although the knowledge, overall knowledge, goes up. It's definite that students are more clever than 50 years ago because of accessibility of information and techniques of teaching. But we lose something, we lose creativity. Why is that? Well, again, the reason here is probably over-testing. So we learn for tests. We don't really learn non-tested subjects because we have to pass the tests all the time. There's nothing wrong in passing the tests. There's nothing wrong in acquiring knowledge, but it's very important that we do it with using the ways to learn that preserve our creativity. So, how can we preserve our creativity? As we age, we ask less questions. We all know that when we are kids, or when we have kids, they keep asking questions all the time. And the most important question is why? That's an endless question. We get thousands of this. As we learn, we actually stop asking this question, which I think is just stupid. Because the how and why question are perpetual. We will never find all answers to how and why questions. And then we also are asked questions that we have to give simple answer to, because we have to pass exams, we have to prove that we know certain knowledge. Many things are actually domains that don't have a single answer. And if you look at, and you don't have to know everything about a discipline to actually be innovative and creative. Think about 3, probably of top 5 or top 10 disciplines today in innovation. One is computer science. Quantum computers, we don't even understand how they work. They are related to entanglement, quantum entanglement, but still they work and they are being developed. Cosmology, with endless great ideas, we don't even understand what is the nature of 95% of matter and energy. But still, there are very good concepts there. Then psychology, or brain physiology. We don't understand anything about memory or self-conscious. Yet we still develop very interesting products and very interesting ideas of how the brain works. And finally, we stop asking questions because we're afraid to ask stupid questions. Don't be afraid to ask stupid questions. Simply, there are only, as many people say, there are only stupid answers, there are no stupid questions. Then, as we age, we also develop certain expertise. And this expertise becomes very, very self-limiting for us. There is a lot of research stating that as we develop expertise, to certain moments, our creativity grows along and develops along with expertise. But then, at a certain moment, we just lose it. We become super experts, and we are not creative anymore. We just drop this creative approach to the problem. So expertise can have a cost of, can be developed at the cost of curiosity and creativity. The second thing that happens that is very, very common and dangerous, I believe, is projection of authority. If we become experts in a certain domain, we project our authority to any other domains. So if I know everything about organic chemistry, I will state that I know everything about anything. It's very dangerous and it's very common. And also that deprives us of creativity because we think we just know. Habit and routine is something that definitely kills our creativity. And it's not about just thinking out of the box. Sometimes it's about doing out of the box. Do something unusual. If you don't know what to do, get a new haircut. Do something that really changes your daily routine. Don't forget about humor. Humor is the best way to think abstractively and to connect non-obvious facts with each other and to get unexpected turnouts. And at the same time, to have a laugh. Don't be afraid about surreal ideas. Don't be afraid about brainstorming. This divergent thinking is all about brainstorming and just letting the ideas out of your mind. As you brainstorm, you really are limitless. But then you have to switch from this divergent thinking to convergent thinking to actually make something out of it, to make it sensible. But if you don't let your mind work in a divergent manner, you will always be limited by what you know. So it's critical to really let your mind freestyle. That's why freestyle rapping is actually tested quite intensively by psychologists. What happens in these people's minds that they have such an amazing associations. Conformity is something that kills creativity, and it's intuitively obvious. The biggest challenge, I believe, today is, and it's not an overall culprit. I mean, there are good sides of social media and internet, obviously, but let's remember that social media and internet use algorithms to actually profile ourselves. So they only present to us songs and ideas that they think we like, or algorithms assume we like. So this is really limiting. This is limiting in creativity, because we only get the access to information that algorithms assume we will be interested in. Then diversity of opinions is all about building interdisciplinary teams, about talking to people who have different expertise than ours. And sometimes the only thing we can do is to agree that we disagree, but it's also very productive. Now, knowledge is not something that should be downplayed. Many people think intuitively that creativity has nothing to do with knowledge. It's not true. We need knowledge to be really creative and innovative. But this knowledge has to be properly used in terms of associating between disciplines and between certain domains of this knowledge. So this interdisciplinarity is what I believe is absolutely crucial in today's innovativeness, in today's interdisciplinary creativeness. There are two terms that are used more and more commonly, which is multi and interdisciplinary. Multidisciplinary is just using different domains and knowledge fields to have an additive effect. Interdisciplinary is actually about creating something new, a new independent whole out of these multidisciplines. And what is important, real-world applications are always interdisciplinary. There is nothing that you can really introduce to life that will be single-disciplinary. It doesn't exist. So if you want to turn your idea into product, or into new process, or into something really new that has life application, you have to think about it in an interdisciplinary manner. Now, boxes. Everybody says, get out of the box, think out of the box. Actually, we box stuff ourselves. As we memorize and learn things, we box the disciplines and knowledge. Not only, we also box our skills, we box our routine activities. So we actually stand behind being boxed and getting boxed very often. There's also one more important thing, which is about knowledge and wisdom. I mean, knowledge is something that is the information that we gather and that we own. Wisdom is all about using this information. That's why wisdom is always multi or interdisciplinary. There is no wisdom that would be single disciplinary. Also, it's about turning information into right decisions. This is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So now I want to give you a real-life example about interdisciplinary approach to a healthcare device. This is a spirometer. Spirometers are used commonly in hospitals to check your pulmonary parameters, to check your lungs and your respiratory tract. Now, this is a stationary device. It stays in a doctor's cabinet or in the hospital. So in reality today, in most of the cases, you only check yourself every 6 to 12 months, even if you're sick. Now, this is okay. The new I'm sorry. There's a bit of information here put at once, but there is new trend in medicine, which is all about involving patients and making medicine through engaging, getting to the disease management of the diseases through engaging patients into the treatment process. Now, how do you get it started? First, so let's say that we want to make a home device which will be an equivalent of the spirometer that you have just seen. What do you need to do? First, you need to find a sensor. Normally these sensors are based on propellers, on little kind of fans, and they are not very durable. So you cannot really put them in the home devices because they will get destroyed. So you have to find new sensor. These guys actually found a sensor from aircraft industry. The aircraft industry uses flow meters to measure flow of air to determine the speed of aircraft. So they took this sensor. Then out of this sensor, they generated a lot of big data, giving it to the patients and learning about how they perform, how they control themselves. They generated big data. This big data can be can be put into algorithms that will actually learn about certain clinical symptoms and correlate certain lifestyle activities with clinical symptoms. And then this can be put on top of pharmaceuticals to determine whether this patient is performing well or not well. What is critical here is real-world data. This is what it's called. And normally these patients they use spirometry every 6 months, as I said. With this device, you can use spirometer 3 times per day. So imagine how much more reliable data you are gathering per each patient, and how personalized approach you can have to every single patient with this device. You can actually adjust dose to each patient because you have your daily data of patient's performance. You can correlate patient's performance with different factors, with time of the year, with lifestyle, with food, with individual parameters that could be based on genetics or other biochemical factors. So medicine can become much more personalized through this real-world data approach or real-world data-driven approach to developing products. What is very important is also improvement of adherence. Adherence is all about patients actually using their drugs. Patients stop using drugs after 60 days, when they get better. Now, to develop this kind of product, you need to have expertise from physics, a degree of engineering with putting this device together. You need maths because you need to put algorithms in place and you need to do the proper coding. You need to understand biology because you need to understand the clinical symptoms and the background of the disease you're addressing. You need to understand sociology because you actually put it into social media and you create users groups in social media, and they actually can have a platform at which they download their data, they talk about it, they are very involved. You obviously need to understand medicine, you need to understand legal, because this thing has to be approved, has to be regulatory approved to be used, to be equivalent to this big device that I showed you. And then even, you need some environmental input here, because you actually can monitor air pollution, and they are now developing an air pollution detector that will correlate pollution level with asthma, probability of asthma exacerbation. So patients will be able to actually take preventively their drug to avoid exacerbation and asthma attack. And that's the future of medicine. So you'll be able to predict incidents All this is all about disease management, diagnosis in field, because you can actually, with this device, you can diagnose many more cases of patients who haven't developed yet their disease, but they could be included into pretreatment or any other procedure that will delay the onset of disease. But you have to, you have to just give it away to people, and these guys are now giving away this device to many, many GPs, many, many general practitioners, to get them diagnosing the disease earlier among just broad population of patients. And this is the device. So the device is the size of a smartphone. Okay, all right. I'm sorry for this. So what I wanted to communicate to finish is that with this interdisciplinary approach, you can achieve real additive effect, and it's super additive, and that's how I see it. The only way to really achieve this effect is to look at things from different angles and look at them from the interdisciplinary angle. Thank you very much.